Oh man. Oh god. Oh man. Oh god. Oh man. Oh god. Oh man. Oh god. Oh man.
Don't give up, skeleton. We are very much done with this section, but let us review the rest of the Old Iron King DLC. Now, this DLC will cover largely the 3 bosses you will find yourself fighting in this part of the DLC. At this point in recording, I am now officially done with the exception of maybe 2 bosses, with Dark Souls 2 Scholar the First Sin. On an upside, I can look back and realize that there are some quaint but challenging things that really make me realize this was the worst of the DLC. Compared to what I did in the next section, there were some charming moments that are much, much better than this section of the game right here. I will say, I now kind of see a dumb pattern with all the DLC that you will fight and hustle and carry yourself through if you go into the DLC of Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin Edition. Because I don't remember if I've mentioned it, but I probably have 100 times. I'm playing this on the PS4. Not on an especially good TV, just something that can carry up to 720. Hence why I'm recording up to that video quality. Now, the reason I'm speeding up all this footage is because the Old Iron King DLC is tedious. There's a few interesting visual spots. The vertical design of the whole thing makes it fun. The ashy elements make it an interesting challenge because it doubles as snow artistically, but it also slows your movement and makes you require a bit more careful placement in your attacks and swings. But ultimately, it is big old artificial difficulty time. On an upside, I'm long past this, but there's a reason I always end up doubling as a caster in these particular games. And it's just because, oh, basic soul arrow, after maybe getting some things min-maxed to 20 or 30, just allows you to carry up to like 50 rounds of soul arrow, so you can deal with big scary man a lot more safely and a lot more cowardly, like I am currently doing. But again, let us consider for a moment. This is the second DLC that I jumped into. I'm going from Sunken City, Old Iron King, to Ivory King. And I believe that the quality of the DLC goes Old Iron King, Sunken City, Ivory King. Old Iron, kind of the lamest. Only because it's just so sloggy. It is more Sen's Fortress than the actual, like, equivalent to Sen's Fortress. For example, these spooky hollow men possessed armor sets that attack you. They are ultimately immortal and able to just hold you back for hours because there's a shard of madness nearby that you have to get a smelter wedge. Thing is, if you don't go to especially special areas within the game, they're just going to keep resurrecting because you will run out of smelter wedges prematurely. I was trying to save as much as I could so I could take care of all the ones down here, for there are 3 fragments of Nadalia that you can find in the boss fight with the Broom Knight. I removed 2 of them myself. Is it 3? It might actually be 4. Let me check the footage as it rolls by with us here. Yeah, remember, don't give up, skeleton. I always love that in the older Dark Souls games, they put such heavy amount of focus on the FX, just the noise of you walking in something, like grass, stone. The grass is so loud in Dark Souls 2, it always brings a smile to my face. I love that aspect of its design. I do not love what you are currently seeing on screen, however, because it indicates that I am a coward, but also I cannot properly read and deal with said opponent. Otherwise, I'd probably just touch his butt with this flaming sword. If I could parry this man, like you could in, say, Dark Souls 3 or Bloodborne, yeah, I'd be fine. Sadly, that is not the case. Also, let it be noted that the Black Knight weapons cannot be buffed with resin, but they can be buffed with magic. So while you can't just coat this boy in poison, wait, actually I think I literally tried that. It might actually be possible. Gonna go ahead and stop the crazy talk there. So that's 3. Oh yeah, it is 4. It is 4. I only had 3 smelter wedges at this point, so this particular one, that section of Nadalia would stick around. Oh well. But yeah, go ahead and do frantic runs. That's what I did, just to see, hey, can I handle a big scary man? The answer was no. So, here we are again. Taking a moment to collect our thoughts and maybe try that again. And then I'll do my OCD pre-sit down. Oh, no I didn't. I just went right into it. Okay. Yep, I want to... Oh, it's Demon Jack Frost. Actually, I forgot. I run into him quite a bit when I'm playing. I think he's a local, because he's assisted me quite a few times when I would come through here. So we all just had a nice little powwow for a moment, praising that sweet, sweet, tasty sun. Oh, but I got a good Healy because someone raided one of my notes. That's right. Well, so it'd be me and the lads here. The thing is, I often think there are sections of this DLC that are awful for me because I tend to do it with one player instead of groups. I very much believe, especially with once you get to the Iron Keep section of the old Iron King DLC, that there's just bullshit zones designed for you to have your friends go in there and help you. Because the fuckery just does not let up at that point. Oh no, DLC boss character with a lightsaber? Huh, I sure hope this doesn't keep being a thing. I do appreciate the slow, recycled version of Gwen's moveset, though. Ah, he hits like a truck. Fire truck. Ah, fuck. There goes my health. Glug, glug, glug. Let your friends tank for you. But as you can see, we're doing fine at this point, because there are 3 functioning, thinking human beings. And the host is able to tank, for the most part. I try my best to, and I could have nearly died there. Let it be known, that thrust attack, deadly as fuck. I think I was casting to draw aggro, and I think it worked. It did. Look at him run like that, just like a crazy madman. I don't like it when swords make laser sounds. That makes me uncomfortable. Oh, he's doing his Darth Vader two-handies. Ah! Then I think I did my Darth Vader two-handies. Oh, but he got last hit. What a beautiful trade that was. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Praise, praise, praise the sun. Praise the sun. What a good man. Now, once you finish with the Broom Knight, you'll find more or less the ashy remains of the physical form that Nadalia took. That's what she looks like. She looks like a Bloodborne character, at least as far as her proportions go. Bonfire ahead, and then a short jog. Also, can we all just talk about... I mean, I know I reuse this track quite a bit, but doesn't the sound of the Trials section from Final Fantasy X just sound like tedious work? That's why I picked this track for this. I really love it. Because, to be honest, if I just said, this is tedious, a few more times, like, probably for the next, I don't know, 16 minutes, yeah, you'd get the idea. That's what's happening here. It is a rough... Ah, the Iron Passage, that's the one. This place is an utter shitstorm. Go in with friends. I cannot stress this enough. Go in with friends. This is maybe my 8th or 9th try, and I had to do it with NPC summons. And, to be honest, it was only made possible because I let them scum ahead of me. Just go through, draw aggro, kill if they can, and then I would come in with big old Gutso sword with a lightning infusion, and I would just knock out a few teeth every now and again. The process is pain, the enemy placement is awful, and everything about it screams pain. For example, Fire Lizard over there. He's designed to be a trap because, well, you get a shortcut if you despawn these fellows so you can head that way. Except it's a Fire Lizard. What are you going to do? Just weave your way past before the gate drops? No, you'll probably fucking die, unless you have a fire resist that's more than 100%. So you'll be on the edge of death, and then when you fight that lizard, as well as the casters that are in there, you will likely die regardless. Like, that section is just bullshit due to placement, and it's one of the few moments where it's just really, really bad. This entire area is leading up to a recolored, recycled boss fight, and that makes this extra shitty, boys and girls. Extra shitty is the name of the game right now. I am very lucky to have survived that. Very, very lucky. And surprised. See, again, Death's Door, nearby. Very nearby. Also, these casters, aside from removing your ability to cast spells yourself, will cast this spell in particular that makes you walk as if you are encumbered, slowing down all of your movements. So killing them very quickly is paramount if you can, and if you can't, you're going to have to advance very slowly. Now, their spells will dissipate if the caster is dead, so that is a bonus. But otherwise, you may find yourself struggling quite a bit for only one reason. there's some astrologer caster type just throwing things at you and pissing you the fuck off. Ooh, hold on. I'm going to respond to a quick text. I'm working on getting an audition for what appears to be a 48-hour film festival, so yeah. Just gonna take that for a moment. I'll be back in a bunch of time that isn't this time. Okay, now I'm back. Just had to take a text and make a phone call. Anyhow. Yeah, you hear all that bullshit going on out there? The clanging and banging and wrapping around and the people dropping above me trying to fuck me in the butt? Yeah, that's this entire area. It is a douchebag festival. And it's terrifying. So this is me just praising the sun amid the madness because I just want to get through this area. I'm under this false pretense that perhaps, just perhaps, there is a fragment that I can get, because at this point I've got all the smelter wedges that I need in the game. But once I go into this room, I discover, oh, what boss is this? Smelter 2? Electric Blue Flame Aloo? Oh, man, let me tell you, I was not pleased. I was exceedingly not happy to fight Smelter again. Granted, this went a lot better than the first round I fought him with. Because fighting Smelter 2, the first round he two-hitted me is just right out the gate. And I had no resources, no Estus, because it's very much a health race at this point. I'm tired, aggravated, and at this point in the footage, very not about fighting Smelter. Because I hate it big when Souls bosses start buffing themselves and debuffing the player. Like, I'm just taking damage right now from being near them. I'm glad they stopped doing that, where you would just have AoE damage by proximity to the boss. Because that's just false difficulty by proxy. It's punishing you for doing literally what you have to get in. And since it's elemental damage, the scaling on it is always whack as fuck. And now, he's got that extra elemental damage on his sword with an extended reach. Now this is nothing new. This is just what the Smelter Demon does. This is Dark Souls 2 Ubermensch boss number, I don't know. Too many guys and too many big things of armor with scary sword abilities. That's it. Stand user of the week, almost. Now, what makes it particularly dangerous is just the way this boss fight tricks you. Because one can assume, to some extent, that maybe fighting the Smelter Demon the first way around was really agitating for you. Well, what they do is they switched up his timing and his movesets. They made this particular version of Smelter cancel out of moves, and the AI gets to do literally a Ken flowchart of options depending on what you're doing. And I don't know about you, but the prospect of Bandai Namco just going through and making a Dark Souls boss that has the same option select as, say, I don't know, unpatched Aaron Black in MK11, or just Ken Masters right now in Street Fighter, that's a little bit fucky. But anyway, killed him, because sometimes you just need to have a health race. Now this next one, if you go to the top floor after that boss fight and ride the elevators all the way up to the upper section of the foyer, you will find yourself able to enter the memory of, well, the old Iron King using his crown that you collected. Yep, so this fight does require you to fight the Broom Knight to begin with, so you get that iron crown off of Nadalia's head. Now, once you have done that, actually, now that I think about it, maybe that was just the remnants of the old Iron King's earthy form, but then that would also contradict with several item descriptions, so I'm not sure. Anyway, you may have noticed the sudden dramatic weapon change on my part. Yeah, I'm using the Gurm hammer, the Dwarven hammer, which is just a stick with an anvil taped to the end of it. And that's because Sir Alon is not weak to a lot of things. I found out I could not poison him and I could not bleed him proper. So what I did is I found out, after doing some slight wiki diving, that he was weak to blunt damage, and that it would appear that a lot of these boys, in particular, are significantly weak to blunt damage. So naturally, I tied an anvil to the end of a stick, and I said, well, I think I'm just going to have to hit you over the head with a hammer. A lot. And that's what led us to that decision right there. Luckily enough, it took, I think, 2 tries to kill Alon with a hammer, because Big Scary Man doing whack-a-mole is in fact my current aesthetic. Oh man, the noises, ugh. But as you can see, 2 hitting those Alon Knights versus 3 quick slashes. The stamina consumption rate is a little bit the same, but the efficiency of the hits is not in this case. I found this round to be a bit more delicious and subjectively more easy to do with a hammer. It just helps. It really, really, really just helps. I kind of like the aesthetic. I think I switch up my weapons about 2 more times in the late game. I typically like running the Black Knight weapons, but I switch ultimately to the big crowd carrier super meta slam that is the Black Knight Great Axe. The durability on that's kinda shitty. The damage on it, however, is not. I think I averaged around 700 damage, or maybe 690, one-handed. Which altogether is pretty good with a Ring of Blades +1. Setting that up was kinda good. Wham! Not having a different animation from using a big sword on that particular size of enemy was kinda lame though. I would have preferred whack-a-mole. Like, getting parries with this hammer? It's fucking delicious as all shit, my boys and my goyles and my non-binary folk. So that was something, I would say. But yeah, as you can see, not too different from the vanilla DLC that was just going into the Iron Keep of before. Still pretty video gamey, just less raw iron, less dumb traps, less not less trappy. The fire obstacles are still a thing. Excuse me. I guess you could say it's less streamlined and less structured in that sense. The gimmicks are more RNG related because the AI attached to those flaming barrel hollows that you saw earlier in this video, they're kind of fucky. They do whatever they want, and that's what makes it so freeform weird. Because using those guys makes areas much more easy to circumvent to some extent. Yet at the same time, there's no guarantee that they will fully aid an encounter. They may very well ruin encounters, in fact. Because they can just be incredibly difficult. And then there's these fucks, realizing that their arrows work. Reminding me of that one section of the Iron Keep I actually loathed more than most. Because it required me to spell snipe more than actually play Dark Souls 2. Yeah, I made that distinction. That's just how it be, though. Now, let's go ahead and talk about Alon here for a moment. Take a look at how he moves. He takes a step back, points it forward, and does one of those. He's very mobile. Save your stamina and avoid that. And whenever you hear that sound effect, get the fuck away from him. If he manages to impale just the host, he gets a damage buff, and the buff state makes him have magic energy sword, and that sword is all kinds of fucked. If he does it to guests, they take damage, yes, but they don't get a special grapple animation, and they don't get the buff to happen to them. Now, he's pretty basic in some extents, because along with that hesitated quick draw, he has a 3 to 2 hit combo he'll do every now and again with vertical slashes. And occasionally he'll do a 3-hit horizontal, which he may or may not cancel into a thrust, like so. But aside from that, there's nothing terribly difficult to him. If you manage to counter hit him and land a hefty blow, you can break his poise on occasion. We do that here quite a bit from time to time. But yeah, the main thing is to stay mobile, manage your stamina, and try to make sure that he doesn't land his buff, because if it doesn't kill you, you will die seconds later. I have discovered this, and that's the only reason I'm bringing summons. Because for some reason, when I try to do big damage, big hits, I could not keep up with him, and he slew me quite easily. Just because, again, I'm not very encumbered. I'm at maybe 60-69% encumbrance, so I have a mid-roll. Excuse me. But the character itself does not feel fast enough to properly handle fighting Sur Long. It's not like Dark Souls 3 and its fluidity of movement at all, where you could roll around like an asshole for maybe 15 minutes, take a breath, and keep rolling for another 15 minutes. The movement in Dark Souls 3, by comparison, is significantly better. Bloodborne is the interesting middle ground, engine-wise and movement-wise. Oh, yep, see, this is the move you don't want to see happen. That's that magic pixel, and now he is fucking dangerous, boys and girls. Guard your health bar, watch him, because at some points, he will smarten up. I notice it quite a bit that bosses will realize, oh, if the host dies, the battle ends. I just have to kill the host. And they will do that on occasion rather than focus on who's dealing the most damage. Granted, I'm pretty sure the other two are just tanking him for the most part, because I am kind of landing the big swings. But as you can see, he does get a slightly augmented moveset. He gets these big horizontal slashes, that huge jump in the air thrust downward. That killed me on occasion, and that was bad. See, look! One blow! Near death. That was at least 65% of my health he could have taken away there. But, like in all things, if you endeavor to persevere, watch him as he moves, track his movements and dodge accordingly, the hammer will be sunken into his skull, and if you can do this without being touched, which I cannot, he will commit seppuku. But that's enough of that. Thanks for watching.